Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today our topic is my mother at 66. So far we were dealing with the prose section. Now we switch it over to the poetry section, and our first poem is my mother at 66. It's a very simple poem, very important. It's also very important poem. So we have to understand it very easily. But the poem is written by Kamla Das. She was born in 1934 and she died in 2009. Was born in Malabar, Kerala. One of the southern states of India, and she's a very renowned English poet rather. She's recognized as one of the India's foremost poems. We can know the history, that is a life history written on the top of the page. So in the meanwhile, she converted to Islam, but for some reason is best known to her, she reverted back to Hinduism, and she adopted at that name. She was given the name Suraya, and later she reverted. And she has written many poetry collections and novels and short stories. Those are given here in his life history. So let's go through the poem now directly. It's a very simple poem, but we have to understand so that we can answer the questions. Even sometimes we can be asked the reference to the context. Sometimes these questions reference to the context is we can easily do that. How to write reference to the context? We have to recognize the verses those are asked, and we have to give the reference where from these lines have been taken, and then in what context these verses have been said, and also we have to explain them. So because it is very simple, so it is very easy to understand. In this very poem there is a mother and daughter, and the mother daughter is the relation between mother and daughter has been shown over here, how the daughter feels for her mother in this poem, because the poet has been very sensitive writer, and she has dealt with or captured the complex subtleties of human relationship. So one such example is given in this poem. Let's go through the poem now. Open your books on page number 90 and let's read. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, dozed, open mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away, and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes, but after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, one pale as a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." All I did was smile and smile and smile. This is all about poem. I have given the model reading. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin means our author or poet, the narrator over here is married, and she has now visited her parents' home. Now, after staying some days there, now she is driving back from my parent. Driving back means she is driving her car, and she is now in her car and going back home to Cochin. Now she is going back parents' home to Cochin. Last Friday she had visited there. Now she is going back. Morning, I saw my mother beside me, and her mother was accompanying her. She was sitting beside her in the car, and they are going towards the airport, and perhaps her mother is going to see her off. and she's sitting by her side. Our author, the poet says, the narrator says, well, I was drawing from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday. It was my mother, mother was beside her. Doze, open mouth. Being old, she was now dozing. Doze means short light sleep. Short light sleep she was taking. Short light sleep beside her in the car. Open mouthed. She was with her mouth open. Her face ashen like that of a corpse. Ashen like that of a corpse. Face was ashen like as if these ashes were smeared on it. The color of her face was like ash, a dull color. Her color was color of her face was very dull, like ash, like that of a corpse. And here these lines, her mother, she has just compared her mother to the corpse. Corpse means dead body. Her mother is just like, her face is just like that of a dead body, because her color was just dull like ash. And realize it with pain, but I realized this thing with pain, means I felt pain on seeing the face of my mother, because she's old, she's approaching to her death, and she's just like in that posture as if she is a dead body, or her face is just like a dead body. And I felt a pain in my heart, quite felt the pain. And that she was as old she as looked, but means she was as old as she looked. She was very old, and now she is approaching, and so she looked old. But soon put that thought away, because I felt pain. The author says I felt pain, or poet said she felt pain, and she would like to divert her attention. She would not like to ponder over this thing, look again and again at the face of her mother, but instead of this, she would like to divert her and put that thought away, this thought of pain, because her mother is approaching to death and she looks like a dead body, and this causes a lot of pain in her heart. So she just that put that thought away and looked out at trees sprinting. The trees were outside, they were sprinting. They were short fast race, running backwards. When you are driving forward, the trees outside, the plants outside, they are running at the same speed. Backward, they are sprinting, they are just running short fast race, running backwards. Our poet saw the, outside these plants, these trees were running very quickly backward. The merry children spilling out of their homes, and also she saw the children very happily coming out of their homes. They are very spilling out of their homes, means they are very enthusiastically, they are very eagerly, excitedly coming out of home. Here is the comparison between the two scenes. One, inside the car, there is the mother. She is just like a dead body. She is corpse, like a corpse, and her face is ashen, like means her face is dull like ash, and the atmosphere inside is so gloomy, because our author feels pain at her having a look at the mother. But outside you see there are two more things. She has given the example of the trees, those are sprinting very quickly, running backwards, and the children who are very happily and pleasantly, very excitedly coming out of their home. Two different things have been here compared. On the one side there is gloom, on the other side there is very happiness and pleasure and excitement. But after the airport, so this is the two scenes that she has compared to show that her mother was just like, and outside just like a dead body, and she is approaching the death. And on the other side there are young children, they are very, they are happy, they are pleasant, they are coming out, they are running excitedly outside. But after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her. For some time she diverted her attention towards the outside. She would not like to have a look at her mother's face, which is just to her it seems as if she is approaching to her death, and that is causing a lot of pain. And the atmosphere looks to her a bit gloomy and but melancholic. So she just diverted her. But after having a security check at airport, when one has to go on board before boarding an airplane or aircraft, one have to go through the security check, and she did all that, standing a few yards and waiting for her turn to go inside the airport or board the airplane rather. So she was standing a few yards away, at some distance away. I looked again at her, but again she had a look at her mother. One means very, very sickly and keeping very poor health. One means keeping very poor health, being old. She is not looking very energetic, very, very, very healthy. But instead, one means very looking very weakly or sickly, and also a pale color. Again, she noticed the same thing which she had already noticed inside the car, as a late winter's moon, and felt like that old familiar ache. Again, the comparison here. Two comparisons have been made. Both of them are the similes. Simile, this is a comparison between the two things, but we can use their like and as. Here, as she has been compared here as a late winter's moon. There she was like a corpse. Like a corpse means she has been compared in earlier lines, compared to a corpse or a dead body. Here again she has been compared to a late winter's moon. Late winter moon, you see that is always of dim color, that's not shining brightly. So the color of the late winter's moon is compared here to the mother, because mother looks pale, wan, and one means sickly or keeping very poor health. So she has been compared. Again, the same thing she felt when she had the look and late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache. She again felt that ache. Ache means pain. She also again felt the ache or pain in her heart. What pain? My childhood's fear. Not this pain. Earlier she had felt the pain inside when she was inside the car, and she felt a pain when she had the look at the face of her mother, and who was approaching to the death, and she was very, very, very perturbed or disturbed to have that. So she felt a pain. Again, this time she felt a pain, but that pain is familiar to her. She is acquainted to her that pain. What pain she was acquainted? My childhood's fear. In childhood stage, usually the children are very closely related to their mothers and intimated to their mother, and she was very close to her mother. She would not bear the separation from her mother at the childhood. So this pain she experienced at the childhood. Again, she experienced the same thing at this stage when she is married somewhere, and she feels that as if she is going to separate from her mother forever. Means perhaps her mother is going to die, because she is approaching to her death, because it is clear from her face or from the color, from the posture whatever she made, and it is clear from that. Now she feels again the pain, the same pain she felt at the separation in the early in the childhood, when she was separated from her mother for some time, for a moment or two. At that time she felt very sad. So again the same thing, see you soon, Amma. But all I said was, see you soon, Amma. Okay, this is the optimistic note. Although she feels that mother, she will know she is going to separate from her mother forever. Maybe in the meanwhile, her mother may die, and she cannot have the chance to meet her again. But still, she is optimistic, and she and says, "Well, I said, all I said was, see you soon, Amma. I am going to see you again. Means I am going to meet you again, and All I did was smile and smile and smile, and she smiled as well. Means she has driven away the fear of the death of her mother away from her. She tried to show that she has driven that fear, and that's why there was smile on her face, saying goodbye to her mother. Although not forever, because she said, "Well, I am going to see you again, see you soon, Amma." She said these were the closing words of the poem. I think this is due for today. We will discuss the question and we will summarize the question in the next lesson. Till then, Khuda Hafiz.